Welcome to North Carolina A&T Recognition Week. Happy to be joined today by head coach Duane Ross of the outdoor track and field team, as well as the indoor teams. Coach, good morning. Great to see you.
Hey, same here. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We're excited to have you as we get to know you a little bit more. Obviously, the Aggies first-year members of the Big South. Great into the 2021 season as in track and field. Let's start there. National Coach of the Year. Congratulations on that. And the remarkable showing in the track championships. 4 national individual champions, finishing 3rd and 4th respectively on the team side. Just give us a quick summary of the experience that week, the new facility in Eugene and your team's overall performances and the attention afterward.
Yeah, well, the facility is absolutely fantastic. I would encourage any track fan when they get the opportunity to go out there and see that. I mean, that is just a facility that has pride written all over it. Just attention to detail in every corner. So beautiful, beautiful facility. And it was just a whirlwind of a week. The student athletes, they were ready to run. They had a good time. Everyone was loose. And I tell them all the time, energy, man, is contagious. And once everyone got going, it was just a snowball. The men went first and then the women. And you could just see, just the energy just start to trickle down. And it was just a very, very well executed weekend. Obviously, I got to give my coaching staff a lot of credit. We worked hard to prepare, the athletes for this moment. And obviously, most of the credit goes to them because, they took the beatings during the season, the hard workouts, the mental workouts, and they came in ready, to compete and they had fun doing it. So it was just a very, very well executed and fun weekend.
Now, you coached 2 of your own kids, your daughter Jonah, your son Randolph. You both competed at nationals, with Randolph winning the NCAA 400 as well as being part of the 4x400. Mm-hmm. How do you balance being a coach and a parent?
Very, very carefully, very carefully. It's as a father, it's a great experience. I get to see them grow up even more. At this point, some parents are saying goodbye to their children as they go off to college. I am so blessed. I am able to see them every day, see them, molded into young men and women. And it's great. But on the flip side, right, sometimes it's a little challenging. I think myself and my children sometimes have to find that balance between coach, father, athlete, son, daughter. So I think we make it work very well. And once again, my coaching staff, they will assist with this. My assistants are very good at determining when they need to, get involved. A perfect example, my son and I, we're training right now, and it's just he and I a lot on the track. So sometimes it didn't, then I see him in the evenings a lot. So, we're spending a lot of time together. So sometimes it's just, we tend to go back and forth. And one of my coaches, has the foresight to say, oh, hey, just intervene just a little, whatnot. So just, a great family we have here, not just my children, but our coaching staff and team as well.
Now, your 2 kids had success in June. What did that feel? What did that mean to you both as a coach and a father?
Oh, now as a father, I'm a father before anything. I actually, when my children were getting recruited in high school, I refused to go on the visits with them. I didn't want it to be awkward. I wanted them to, to have their own experiences, even if that meant going somewhere else. I never pressed either one of them to come to A&T. It was their choice. So I'm a father first and foremost. I'm proud of them regardless if they touch foot on the track or not. But to see them do this, and see them do it at the level that they're doing it at, and see them put the effort forth, I'm extremely proud. Just to see them compete at the level that they're competing at and to leave it all on the track. As a father, it gets no better. As a coach, obviously, it feels good when all your athletes perform well, win or lose. But as a father, I don't know if you have children yourself, but hey, just to see them go out, and have fun doing what they love to do, there's no better feeling than that.
Now, 4 of your student athletes qualified for the Olympics. How did you help them train and prepare for the trials, and what was your reaction to their achievements?
Yeah, well, we had a very solid plan this season. We started training in September, and in September, we had a discussion. Every single one of our athletes that had visions of going to the Olympic trials. We spoke about that, and I am very straightforward when it comes to things like that because I lived that life. This is nothing to play with. If you're going to do it, this is the road you have to take. It's going to be hard. It's very disciplined. You're running against athletes who do this for a living. So we will not walk in there, as if this is just another competition. So they were challenged from day one before we stepped foot on the track. So we had a very good plan in place. We trained through a lot of our competitions. I held them back from competing. From peaking and tapering, and it worked out. It worked out. For some of them. For some, I mean, that grind of just NCAA's and then Olympic trials the next week was just a little too much, and we knew it was going to be a lot. But the ones that went and competed, they left their hearts out there.
Now, Randolph is one of the Olympians, so congratulations on him, and we wish him the best of luck in Tokyo. Since he qualified, how has it been since with managing and juggling all the demands as well as training?
Yeah, he's a very grounded young man. Yeah, he doesn't let a lot get to him. Some of the guys on the team, they have a nickname for him. They call him the Iceman because he's just even kill. Can't get a rise out of him one way or the other. So he's been handling everything well. I think the biggest thing on his plate has been me. Seeing his dad every day. Because I'm out there yelling at him at practice. Yelling the times, and then we might leave practice and go get something to eat, and I'm still going through the race in his head and things like that. So I might be the biggest challenge for him right now. But it's been going great. He's been doing well. He's still in class, something he chose to do because he loves the structure. Not he wants to make sure he's taking care of business in the classroom as well as on the track, and just something else that I'm proud of him for. He's very disciplined when it comes to finishing what he started. So yeah, he's doing well. We're actually past ready to get to Tokyo. I mean, we could have ran that race this past weekend. I mean, it's just we're so ready to get there and start this competition.
Now, you're a former Olympian yourself, competed in the Athens Games back in '04. What experience have you shared with your son about what to expect and how to navigate his first Olympics?
Oh yeah, we talk about those things all the time. More importantly, we talk about the things not to do. Just don't get caught up in the moment. Be in the moment, but don't get caught up in the moment. Be mindful of your time. Be mindful of your rest. Things of that nature, and be mindful of your competition. This is the highest level of track and field, and believe it or not, there's some competitors that intentionally try to throw you off your game, and that's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. So just things of this nature, just preparation, for the competition days in advance. Getting your rest, what to put in your body, what not to put in your body. All of these things we talk about in detail. So when he gets there, he's going to be prepared. We've been talking about this for a while now.
Now, you were a national champion in the 110 meters at Clemson, seven-time All-American, world-class professional world sprinter when in your competition days. How do you use all your accomplishments into your coaching and training?
Yeah, well, I've learned a lot during my time coaching. I would say that I use that more so than my accomplishments. Obviously, to be a national champion, to do what I've done, you do have to have some sort of aggressiveness, and I'm very disciplined when it comes to our training. I think I bring that from my past experiences, but just my career has taught me so much. Like as I mentioned before, more importantly, the things not to do and whatnot. So I stress that to our student athletes all the time. I'm a teacher out there on the track, just getting them ready for the next level, whether that's competing professionally or going out and being an engineer and building bridges, or whatever the case may be. That's a responsibility I take very seriously, preparing our student athletes for what's to come. And being a coach and being a parent as well, I think it's our responsibility to teach our children, our student athletes, hey, I've been down this road, right? If you go down this road, this is what's going to happen, right? So maybe listen, right? Make your own choices, obviously, but I'm here to tell you this might be a little easier if we go this route. So, so yeah, so I think my experiences, I think the student athletes look at my life and my experiences and what we bring, not just myself, so much experience on our staff. I think they look at us and they use us as examples, which is good. But we're always trying to instruct them on, hey, do it better, right? If you can do it better, take this route other than this route.
So let's reflect back on when you first started in track and field. How old were you? Who introduced you to the sport?
Oh wow, I was geez. So my first introduction was I was a freshman. I was a freshman, and um, there was a coach, basketball coach. He was basketball coach. He was track coach. There's always been a coach in my life, kind of steering me in the right direction. And maybe that's why I love coaching so much. But a guy named Butch Blaylock, my freshman year, ninth grade, in WC Friday, junior high school. He was the basketball coach. He was also one of the football coaches, and incidentally, he went to high school with my father, who was also a hurdler. He ran track, So my father passed when I was young. When I was about 7 years old. But this coach, he knew my father from high school, so he kind of took me and said, "Hey, I remember the day we met." He took me by the side. He's like, "Hey, I knew your father. He was a great athlete, and he did football, basketball, track and field, and and I see a lot of you in him." And he just kind of took me from there and introduced me to track and field. That was my first time running track. I didn't do youth. It was ninth grade. He introduced me to it. I was a shot putter, my first event, and then somehow trickled over to the hurdles.
Now, how many events did you run during either your high school or collegiate days, and kind of what is your favorite event to participate in?
Well, obviously the hurdles were my bread and butter. That's what I ended up doing professionally, and and running in college and winning nationals at. But believe it or not, my favorite event was a shot put. Maybe maybe it was because it was my first event in track and field, but I loved it. I had success at it when I was doing it. I was school record holder, which wasn't far by any means, but it was far for me. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the athletes over there, throwing and so yes, it's still one of my favorites. And listen, when I go to competitions, where do you end up finding me sometimes? In the throws areas. I mean, to see athletes at this level throw the hammer, throw the shot. I mean, it is just incredible. So yeah, if you come to a track meet, if you don't see me on the track watching my own student athletes run, you might catch me in the throws area.
That's great. We're going to move into some fun questions as we start to wrap up. First, who's your favorite track and field athlete that you followed growing up?
Oh wow, Colin Jackson. Colin Jackson. He was a former world record holder in the 110 hurdles and the 60-meter hurdles. Obviously, that was my event, and he was just a great guy. I met him when I started competing professionally. We traveled together a little bit. Just a great guy. So when I met him and got to know him personally, and uh, it just solidified the fact that I was a fan when I was younger. But I just a great guy.
And who are some of your other favorite athletes overall?
Oh man, Michael Johnson. Even some of the guys that were during my time that were running, Maurice Green, 100-meter sprinter. A lot of these guys, I just watched how they just competed with so much class and so much composure. Some of these athletes competed during the time I did, and I was still in awe of just watching how they carried themselves and how they competed at a high level consistently. But some of the athletes going back further, Merlene Ottey, Gail Devers. Just some great athletes that have opened the door for myself and for the athletes coming behind me.
Now, in your professional time, what was your favorite international event that you competed in?
Favorite international event? I'll tell you, I ran a couple 4x1s as a professional at some meets, and never worked out the way I wanted it to, but I still enjoyed that camaraderie running relays with the team. That's one thing when you're on the professional scene after college. One thing you miss, because there's not that many competitions where you're running relays, Olympic Games, World Championships, things like that. But yeah, that was something that whenever we're at a competition and there was a relay ran, I was always the first to say, "Hey, let me run." So yeah, that was one of my favorites.
And with that, what about your favorite international city that you competed in?
Oh man, I've been to so many different places. Um, gosh, so many beautiful places I've been. Paris is one of my favorites. Oh, a small town in Italy. You know, Rovereto, right? Small town in Italy. I don't know if you're a movie buff, but I love the Godfather sagas, right? The movies, and I spent some time in two small towns in Italy, Rovereto and Rieti, and I'm gonna tell you, just puts you back in that mindset of old time Italy and whatnot. Just beautiful. So yeah, those would probably be two of my favorite places.
You mentioned some sprinters in your previous answers, but which of those guys did you enjoy competing against the most?
In my own event, Alan Johnson, he was the Olympic champion in the hurdles. And I enjoyed competing against him so much because we competed against each other in college. That rivalry went well beyond college. He was at UNC Chapel Hill when I was at Clemson. Of course, we were rivals. And, we just took turns getting the best of each other. And then when we went professionally, we were still going head to head a lot. But just a great athlete to compete against because when you competed against him, you had to bring your A game because he was bringing his. So yeah, he was one of my favorite hurlers. Colin Jackson as well, who I mentioned earlier. Another one of my great guys I like to compete against. Those two, man, they always kept you on your game.
You mentioned earlier you're signing up for the relay. If you could pick three sprinters in the history of track and field to run a 4x400 meter relay with, who
Mm.
would those three be?
Okay, and I'm on it. So I'm
Yeah.
going to pick three guys that are probably going to vote me off the relay, just so you know. Jesus, Michael Johnson has to be one. Great guy. Uh, uh, I mean, just what can you say? One of the best ever. My son would be the other because I do believe when it's all said and done, he'll be one of the best ever. And then the third, man, 400 meters. There's so many great guys to choose from. Gosh, you know what? I'd have to go with one of my own on my team. I would have to probably go with Trevor Stewart because I believe when it's all said and done, he also will be known as one of the best. So yeah, that would be my relay. Those two of my own guys, Michael Johnson and myself.
What order would you put them in the race?
Oh, geez. I tell you what, I would have to go first just to get the embarrassment out of the way. So I would go first. I would probably go my son second. He runs a great second leg, to Trevor on third. And then obviously you have to anchor with Michael Johnson. I mean, you just have to. But that would be my relay.
Any idea what the relay time might be?
I don't think we'll be breaking any world records with me on it. Uh, but let me see. Now, if we go back to my prime, maybe I could have gave you maybe a 48-47 split. Who knows? I was never that great in the 400 meters. But let's say with those guys, I mean, geez, I think I still believe we could possibly run about 301.
Great. Coach, our last question for you, going back to your kids, growing up or even to this day, did you ever race them one-on-one? And if you did, at what point, what age did they finally beat you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What father doesn't take his kid out and into the backyard and beat him up a little bit? I did that constantly with those two. And I do it with my current children right now. I mean, I take them out and we race all the time. But yeah, with those two, we were always in the backyard racing and playing football and it's something athletic. I think it was around their early years in high school where they started taking it a little bit more seriously than I wanted. It wasn't any more backyard playing. I think that's when they started growing and really coming to their own and really starting to be competitive and whatnot. So I think the backyard racing stopped around that time.
Well, Coach, that's all the time we wanted to take from you today. We really appreciate you joining us. Safe trip and best of luck in Tokyo with you and Randolph. And we look forward to seeing the Aggies compete this coming season.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.